Do older children actually get more rules and younger kids get less rules and just going to be able to have free reign? I think there's a healthy way this happens and an unhealthy way this happens. The unhealthy way this happens is that the older children have a whole bunch of rules because the parents are trying to control them. And then the parents get really lazy as they start parenting and they're tired and they don't want to deal with the younger children, so they just let them have free reign and do whatever they want. That didn't benefit the older children and it didn't benefit the younger children. But the healthy version is that the older children had more rules because the parents were naive and they didn't understand the actual dangers and needs of parenthood because it was their first time being a parent. None of us show up in this world as mothers and fathers. We get handed that title randomly one day when a small human shows up and we need to raise them. And in that moment, you have never loved anybody as much as you've loved that child. You have never figured out how to show up for somebody who is so helpless. And you are just terrified that everything could possibly go wrong. So you want to do everything you possibly can not to screw this up. And sometimes that means going hyper extreme on some of the rules. But as time goes on, we get more muscle memory. We start to understand the things that are really dangerous and the things that aren't dangerous. And we figure out the rules that actually should exist. The rules that are keeping people safe without being restrictive. The rules that are actually going to cultivate the garden where the human is able to grow and be able to thrive, as opposed to the one that's just smothering out life. So it's more that the younger children just get a more experienced parent than the older children had. But this is completely unavoidable. This is not something that can be avoided at all. It's not like there's parenting college where you can go through 6 years of school and graduate and then be the best parent. The only way you become a good parent is by parenting for a period of time. You're also not going to get this experience through childcare, through teaching, or any other thing that's going to involve other people's children, because your children are always going to be different than other people's children. It's just our nature on how we show up for our own children versus other people's children. Think of it like medical school. When somebody graduates medical school, they become a resident and they start taking care of patients, and they're going to take care of those patients to the best of their skill set, but they're going to take care of patients even better 20 years down the line. Because at that point they have more experience, they have more hands-on practice, they know how to take care of patients, they know what's truly a risk and what's not. It's the same thing with parenting. The more we do it, the better we show up. And since there's no way around that, it's in nature, it's something that we must cope with. I just have to believe that there's providence in the resiliency of older children dealing with parents that don't know what they're doing yet. It doesn't have to be a battle between older children and younger children having different experiences, because every single one of them are going to show up to parenting as a rookie, and they're going to have the same dynamic between their older children and their younger children, because that's just part of life. It's the natural course of life. Just as we can't get mad at the inexperience of a resident doctor, we can't get mad at the inexperienced first parent. As long as they're showing up the best that they possibly can in their skill set, then that's all we can ask of people. And it will always kind of seem unfair, but it's just written into the plan of families.